There's
never
a
seen
sign
any.
on the gate that's broken, said something about city property, but, I mean, it's, it, you can't even
I'm
see
afraid
unless
if
you're
you
standing
slip
there.
off into that.
You pull up, all you
we'd
see is a
have
broken
mess.
gate laying on there, so.
You know, there would be a
We don't have to
issue.
look on
Yeah,
that.
there's no other signage, there's no, like I said, the gate's never locked, it doesn't even lock through the pole, and the gate's laying on the ground broken in the middle.
We're gonna get with Mike and make sure this maintenance guys can go with something quick.
Yeah, because I mean, there's something that needs to do, I mean, I'd hate for somebody to slip off, or, you know, to get in the mud and off they go. And then if I hadn't been home and seen them, I'd never even known there was anybody even down there.
Is Mike on vacation?
Is
Yes.
Mike on vacation?
I'll be back Wednesday, I saw him at Walmart today. so-
Okay. Okay.
Alright,
Well, I'm ready to approve the bill, no, the reports. Let's do reports first.
approval of the reports. Alright, I need a motion to second. To approve the report.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright. First on the agenda is the Elks Club. The donation, we gonna turn the bill?
No, that's next.
Alright, I need a motion and a second to approve the bill.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Second it.
Motion. Yes.
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 Alright, next on the Sykes and Elks Lodge fireworks, we give it, we donate it every year. It's just no matter what the board thinks that, is sufficient for the city to give.
What did we get last year?
I don't even, how much? Before we do that, I'd also like to add addition to that, our tornado victims. I would kinda like to, as a city, to give a little donation to them too. I mean, those people are really hurt. I've been up there 4 or 5 times, I'll give 5, I'll probably give 10, they're just in a big need. I know the city turned the convention center over, and that was a great thing for them. But, they need a little bit more cash, I think, because there's a lot of things that people need. There's $5, $10, $15 per pie that they would try to school. I
So,
don't know what
did
y'all
they ever
think.
did they ever get that all set up to make the donations? Because I know the last time they were still trying to work on that. They haven't actually got it set up. Is Angie was still working on it?
I don't know if she has
finished.
anything set up, I know, the last thing I knew, Old Bethel Church was out there, they were accepting donations as far as like supplies.
So was the
But,
YMCA.
and the YMCA was too, but as far as like funds, monetary funds, I don't know if that's been.
They still are, I took those folks up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still saying.
But I know those places are taking materials, but I'm not sure about just donating funds, I don't know if they've got that set up yet. And I don't know how they were gonna set it.
Judy, do you know?
If we can give to the Elks to have fun on 4th of July, maybe we can give a little bit to the people.
Well, I don't agree on giving them $1,000 worth of fireworks. I think more money to the tornado victims is more feasible to me than it is for fireworks. Now, I don't know how the rest of the board feels, that's up to you all, but, yeah. I feel that way also, but I don't know. So, what do you think do you all wanna give anything at all? to fireworks going into the tornado? Or you wanna split it?
Everyone's gonna go and watch fireworks.
I think we should donate 500.
To the fireworks?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my thought.
Okay. That's fine.
And then when we find out, we can donate whatever you can to address that. Make a motion, we donate 500.
500 forward.
Yes, sir.
Brian, did you second that?
Brian Doe,
Yes.
Peggy Harmon,
Yes.
yes.
And then we'll just wait on the tornado victims, so we know for sure
Yes.
who, and where it's all going?
Yes.
I try to get hold of Terry, there, he probably.
I just, anything else find out, and just a second, if there's something set up there, let me know.
Okay, then just let us know, because I mean, she might get whacked with it, she may not. Okay.
Next is the Manor Gateway CD.
It's not a
Right.
CD, it's the SID fund, the community improvement district that has to be done every year that pays out for the, TIF for the brewery.
Do you have any idea when this will end?
I believe it's 2030.
Does their, board stay the same, it stays the same, doesn't it? That we put, a couple years ago, we had to fill in the employee last year.
For right now, I don't do this, being the attorney, I do this
Alright. Move on here then.
Yeah, we should have second vote.
Need a motion second.
If this changes, cause this is just a draft, right? This is not the real budget. It's gonna be that. Alright. That's what
I'll make a motion.
Brian Doe, Peggy Harmon,
yes.
Next is the Public Works Department, maintenance, building, lights. Maybe one of them's here, so.
no, that's Peggy.
No, there needs to be some dusk and dawn lights out there. When I left this meeting the other night, I had to park over there because all the people that were here, it was pitch dark. Even Brandon Ellison, he was parked over there, he said, my God, don't we have lights here?
Which side of the building you talking about?
Talked about the whole front, it was solid black in there.
Then like, we have lights over here that are, on the building, but I mean, it's just a regular 70-watt light bulb.
They need to put up
But
two
they're
dusk
on,
and dawn lights.
they're on a timer, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But it's literally just a 70-watt light bulb, now as far as like actual parking lot lights, or even around back where we park at, and then where they're not here during the night, but there's no lights anywhere.
There's no lights, no, there needs to be some dusk and dawn lights put up. Cause if I was a thief, I'd want it real dark up there where you guys could see me on the cameras. You see a hoodie, taking something.
Alright, we're getting with the maintenance department. Along with, the commitment there, see what the best way to put the lights. And also, police department used, when they had the light out up down the highway and they usually will take the telephone phone number. A lot of those lights out in there, will be residential lights, are still on 125, would be kicked up to about 250s and give more light for, they're starting to walk now, a lot of people are. And some of those streets are long and dark. And, we might could change some of those bulbs. I talked to Jody about that sometime back. All she has to do is call whoever the lights belongs to, and they'll change it. It just adds about $1 or so a month more on the light bill.
Our night officers usually get that list. I know they probably haven't in a couple of months, but it seemed like it was the same lights over and over months at a time. So I don't know if they just weren't getting out there very fast, or if they got a problem, but it was the same lights over and over. You could almost just not change the list. And I think they just weren't coming and changing them. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's been done the last 2 months as far as our guys looking at them. But I can have them look at them again. It's driving around at night, it looks like it's the same.
Especially the residential part.
Yeah.
Some of
It's the
those
same.
lights would put out more light, and the people done cut trees around too.
Yeah, I've noticed
That's
that
been a
in
problem.
the neighborhood that.
They don't want their trees cut, no.
And it covers up a lot of, especially those LED
Mhm.
lights.
And that's what I've noticed up there on South Interstate. Okay, there's been like, let's see, I think there's 4, maybe 5. They're LED and the rest of them are just like.
Yeah, it
the
looks
old
weird
type.
because
And.
I like the LED ones and they're brighter with like
Yes.
where they need to be and not so much looking at them from this way, but the mix and match all through there. We went through and wrote those down and all the ones that were out and we did it over and over and over again.
We talk about LEDs and little bitty jobs like that.
I don't know, it's whatever the LED bulbs they're using in the lights now, instead of like those yellow looking bulbs, it's the bright white bulbs. They're a lot cleaner looking, but they're mixed and matched all through the city, so it looks weird. And we wrote down all the ones that weren't changed yet. I didn't figure they would change them until they went out, but we wrote those down and we wrote down all the lights that were just completely out.
And I tell you what was so strange down there on South Interstate, because when I come through there, it's like they're off. But if you get closer to the light, oh, come on, then you drive away from it, it goes off. I
It
mean,
looks
it's almost like a,
it's those LED bulbs, you can't see them.
You can't see them coming towards
They're
them
like,
until you're underneath them.
they're really bright
That is
right there. Like I said, keep them blind and people don't know this.
so strange.
But I'll have them, write a list again and give it to Julie or Jody, who was, Jody, right, yeah, and give it to Jody and, see if she can get that figured out.
All right, next on the agenda is the old water tower. I was approached by Alan. It's this property down there on 539. It's calling in at their installation or whatever. The son and Mr. Allen, they wanna know what we were gonna do with the water tower.
Well, I'm not for selling them, because we're gonna need something if the town keeps growing. Especially if this one right down here, the big one, has to be repaired. I thought Mike told us at the last meeting, it's gonna have to be cleaned on the inside, so these people ain't gonna go in there and with scuba gear clean. I mean, it has to be drained,
This will occur us now through that. We don't have no problems.
huh?
I said, this tower here will carry us through.
I don't think so, not with all the business, all the water, motels and stuff. I'm not for selling it.
Julie, were there pretty
I'm not for
high
selling it.
costs
He just wanted
that were
to
coming down the
make his
pipeline
copy
for the water?
Well, all he has to do is put up a fence during the easement and stay off our easement through there. Cause that is our easement back there, it was straight as Jerry James back when the easement went this way and cut the property into.
Well, I went out there and had to talk with him, and all he wanted to make his property look good.
I don't think it
I
looks
said, well,
bad,
how
he's
you gonna
cleaned
get
it up.
down? He said, well, we'll get it down. I said,
No,
there.
I'm not for selling
Well,
it.
anyway, I got with Norman Lambert. Norman Lambert told me at one time, years back, we could have it fixed for $40,000 and didn't do it. Now, it's gonna the whole lift station, everything in, electric and all. So we don't have a lift station. So I don't have any idea now what it would cost to get it back in use. It has nothing, it's just a tower.
I'm not for selling it, because we're gonna have to need it. If you're gonna grow, you gotta have water.
Well, it,
Water and waste, water
Yeah,
infrastructure is in
Yeah.
poor condition as it is.
yeah.
The water's a commodity.
I've always said you cannot get too much water. You can't do it. If you're gonna grow, you gotta have water.
That man's just looking out for his future.
I think as close as you get now, even when Casey's coming on, we still got, like, we don't even use 70% of what we got now. But same, like she said, when she sits down, cleaning that tower and all that, we're hoping this year be able to tell us do it. Anyway, I'll tell him the city don't want to sell it.
That's my opinion, you got 2 other board members here.
I don't wanna sell it either.
So, honestly, if the land that is sold to the hospital, if they do ever build, it's gonna use up all that, plus probably need more.
That's right.
We'll have to go fix that. Well, we all did shake up the hospital a little bit, I done told Mike to give the ticket. We gotta cut the field, we didn't cut it last year. That's fire hazard. Everything's set right, so like, Jim Brew gonna get a ticket. Yeah. How many times these fields, just like, you know, clean up, clean up.
I'll make a motion for water tower not to sell.
I'll second it.
I tell him, he just don't have to do it.
Peggy Moore,
Yes.
and yes.
All right, next is police department. That's finally the chief's department. Vehicle purchasing.
Hey, real quick before I start talking about that, Angie texted me back, I'll send this to you, but just so you guys are aware. The Boonville Regional Community Foundation, in conjunction with the Scott County Emergency Management Team, has activated a Scott County Impact Fund to assist with disaster relief efforts. Those two agencies are partnered with DAOT to distribute the funds to address the needs for residents, entities, and municipalities affected by the tornado. It goes on to tell them how to contact it. It says that, anybody willing to make a contribution can write a check to, and it gets the whole thing, and then mail it to the address on Kings Highway. I can send you all of that. Just, if you guys wanna go back and revisit that today or whatever, but it can be done and sent a check in the mail, through DAOT. And then they, I guess, I didn't read the rest of it. Yeah, and then they're just distributing out the funds to the people that were affected.
Post that on my
I
computer.
think now, yeah.
Let me back up just a second. If I get with Norman and Chris, get them to look at that water tower. Maybe there could be some like pieces of that.
No, I'm not for selling it, Frank. I'm telling you, we need it. Where are you gonna put another water tower?
We're not selling it, we're gonna see it for sale.
What?
Stuff to
Fix
video.
it.
Fix it, yeah, I'm all for that,
I
Frank.
wanna see you get some kind of idea of what it costs. You know, we might have, we can do it for parks, we don't have to spend a whole bunch at one time. We can do it for parks. Okay, good.
Sorry.
Okay. No, where we're at.
I'm all for donating.
Oh, okay, I read that. So like I said, how, you guys wanna
Do
talk
we
about
need to
it?
wait till we get down here, other items?
Where-
Is that what we need to wait for? Okay. Go ahead, sir. Sorry, Bobby.
Oh, okay, so, I think discussed before the two, I wanna make sure that I'm on the same page with you, do all of our vehicles paid off, is that correct? Okay, I just wanna make sure, cause I thought there was still two, but last time I talked to you, you told me that they were paid, and I didn't.
Just,
April, of this last April, yeah, and that, I don't know, I just didn't put my head. So, the you guys read through this, I don't wanna go through all the boring stuff about them, but they have the two Dodge Durangos, they're 2025 Durangos, they're black, and they're the V6 model, just like what we have now. He's selling them for under what the state bid cost is. The MSRP for like 48,000. The vehicles now, he's got them at 39,714, and then he's offering $4,000 a piece on trade-in for those two 120,000 plus mile Chargers that we have out here. One of which is the one that's not even really being used right now because the all-wheel drive, that was the one we had the wrong tires on apparently. We went through that whole thing, spent money on it, and they're still saying it'll be about another 65 to 7,000 to put a new all-wheel drive system in it. So it's just been sitting out back. But this would update our fleet completely. The oldest vehicle we would have then would have around 60,000 miles on it, I believe. And basically eliminate the need for new vehicle purchase for, I mean, knock on wood, want somebody to do something done for the next several years. We definitely have everything up as far as what we've got out there. So I was just requesting that we could trade those two vehicles in and purchase the two new vehicles.
Well, that all sounds good, but now too, we were looking, we can probably do one now. I know the deal won't be down the road like it is now. We might be able to do one of those, because
I'm not
Them Dodge- them
why they
Dodgers-
have them under the.
them Dodgers are eating a lunch every day. Put one out there, it's just tearing the shop.
But those Chargers are the last two, V8 cars that we have. Everything else, even my Charger is a V6. Doesn't get extremely better gas mileage, but it does.
Sometimes you buy a smaller motor to get better gas mileage, you ain't gonna do it. You need to get something for the car. But anyway, how are our finances?
I have a question. I have a couple questions. How many employees do you have, police officers right now?
Currently, or should I have?
Currently have?
6 police officers, including myself. And then I have the dispatchers. But yeah, as far as patrol officers, I have 6.
Okay. And how many-
Full time.
Okay.
I have 3 fire officers.
Now, how many vehicles, it looks like you have, what, 8?
Yes, ma'am.
But one that does not, that's not working at all, you said it's parked out back.
You can drive it, but I wouldn't.
That'd be 17.
It's actually the 18. The 18 is actually the one that's the all-wheel drive issue. When it gets wet outside, I drive it to get the tires changed on it, and it jerks, and it spun me around on the road. But I just about towed it out there after that, but I drove it back after that.
Is that the one that was recently fixed, it didn't?
Yes, the one we recently spent $2,000 on because it was supposedly some issue. It was not that, the whole drive system was especially shot in it, and it kicks in and out, messes up. We've taken it 2 different places, and they both go to anywhere between $6,500 to $7,000 to redo it. The
Okay.
car's only even worth it $4 or $5 grand.
Okay, so then my next question is, how many officers are usually on one shift at a time? Sometimes two, right, with the
If
overlap?
I'm here, or if Ben's, well, not even if Ben's here, Ben's been on day shift, he's training. But one,
Currently, or should there be, because there should be more than one, but.
absolutely, which that's something we went through before.
Well,
If you
see-
count like I said, we have 6 employees right now. If you count the ones that were short, I mean, Kayla replaced Mike College. Avery's left since then, and Chief Buckley resigned since then, so. Technically, I know we can't do anything about the chief.
Right.
I mean, technically, I'm still another officer short, plus having the chief.
How's the young lady working there?
Very well. She will be, I know it's getting off topic, but she will be, on her own vehicle in about a week and a half or 2 weeks. And then we'll be, shadowing her for the last half of the last phase of her FDO. So she's just about there.
Okay, so what I'm getting at is how many vehicles are used at one time? If everybody was working and you were full to capacity with your officers, how many would you have on a shift then? Four.
During the day, or during the, it would overlap depending on who had it, but yeah, probably four.
Four, okay, and so now we've already got, say, 7 vehicles. So, I guess I'm having a problem trying to spend more money when you've got enough vehicles right now, everyone can have them.
So, I take my card home, then takes his card home, that's another thing, it goes back to the take home vehicle, I mean, we've discussed all this before, that's how we ended up with the 8 vehicles. I know we were past that.
Well, see, I guess what I'm trying to get to say is, I don't know that we need to spend any extra money on vehicles, when I think you got enough right now that can get you through until a little later. Because I know what you're thinking is, all vehicles are paid, so let's get us 2 more.
Absolutely, yeah, because
Well-
then we're up to,
But, you know, this is something you gotta understand too, Nathan, you're not the only department that needs something.
completely understand.
And the way I'm seeing it right now is, you've got vehicles. And everyone can have a vehicle. And I just don't see right now the need to hurry and buy 2 more vehicles. That's my concern, because there's other things in here that I can see you definitely need. Now, are they gonna be as much as what the vehicles are? No. But there might come along something that you're gonna need in a hurry, and maybe we don't have the funds now. I guess I want us to kinda be picky a little bit about what we're spending, and not just keep spending. You know what I'm saying? Let's give it a break, a little break. Now, some of these things you got on for the night, yeah, no problem whatsoever, none whatsoever. But I'm not sure that you need your vehicles right now. I don't know how everybody else speaks.
Wait, we'll just replace the one of them? The one that's messed up?
I think there should be at least a plan to rotate vehicles.
That's
there's
what I'm
funds.
saying.
That was the plan, Jimmy, when you were on the board, and that's what we've done to
That's
this
the
point.
plan we got.
That's the
we
plan,
went
it's
in
been,
with.
the last time we bought cars was when, Julie?
Yeah.
3 years ago? 2 years ago?
The plan.
That was the plan, was to rotate them every couple of years, and rotate out all of our old cars.
That saves you money.
Slot them
That
down.
saves you money, you got your warranty and all that stuff.
Right, that was the whole point of-
That saves you money. You get out to your big Bronxville.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was when we talked about there was one bought in between that, cause Buckley burnt one on them. That was, sorry.
Well, I think they need at least one, maybe 2, but one, I think we can handle.
Why don't we trade the 2 for 1?
I can see if he'll do that, absolutely. I mean, it's fine. He's offered 4,000 apiece for, I mean, I'm sure he would if he would take the 2 trades for $4,000 apiece. So, I really just, I wanna replace that Charger. Kayla can maybe go into the car on her own, and the 2 cars that we have out there, the one that was set up for an admin vehicle, which was the very first Durango that we bought, it doesn't have a spotlight and all that stuff on it, it's the one that probably should have been driving, maybe anyway, the other one is the car that didn't really drive very well, and then the other older Charger, so.
Are we talking about trading in two now for one?
I'm talking about whatever you're willing to talk about.
Well, the one out there that's been sitting out there.
That's the one that's, the all-wheel drive fence with me.
Well, it's not bad,
If you-
trading in two for one.
If you gotta cut down another car and you cut down one of those Dodges, and that one car out sitting out there, would that make a better deal on moving?
I don't know what you mean, they're all,
You got 7 or 8 cars now, haven't you?
I have eight vehicles,
You got 6 officers,
yes, currently.
so you wouldn't need over 6 cars, I wouldn't think.
Trade the two
If
for
we
another.
trade the 2 for 1, that'll leave me with 7 cars, and that was
That's
a car for the reserves, and then everybody else would have the
No,
side car at
trade.
this point.
You trade the one sitting in the back and trade one of those Dodgers. One got the most miles.
There-
Talking about the
it's other-
17, 19.
The other Charger.
I can see that.
And you've got 3 months until the new budget. You can look. I don't know how often they need to be swapped out, 1 year, 1 every 2 years, but.
It was, when we first talked about this, it was every 2 or 3 years, I thought it was 3, but I guess, did we pay them off early? Or did they
No,
just
we
do a
had
2-year
to make
lease?
a payment before you could pick them up instead of.
Oh, so then, okay, so then it ended up being a year short, basically. So, if we did them on like a lease, program this last time, so now we own them, right? Paid $1 for them and we own them or whatever. So, but I thought we were doing like every 2 or 3 years, so that's why.
Well, that was the plan.
2 years ago.
You were right on that, we were gonna trade over 2 years.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, you wanna make a motion to trade the 2 vehicles into the new one?
Well, I'll make the motion, trade, 2017 and 2018 Charger. Try to get one.
I'll second.
Ron Bell,
Yes.
Katie Holman,
Yes.
Lou Reed.
No,
All right.
Thanks, got both. Is that right?
Feel like it's better.
There's the top. So there's the tie.
I said, okay, I'm for it. Get in the car. Quicker we get rid of them Dodgers, the better off we are. All right, I guess the next, we have a vote. Two.
You broke top?
Next is, the humidifier purchase, police department.
Just real quick, I talked to you 3 when we were in the office that day about the dehumidifiers,
Oh, God, it makes it.
I went to Lowe's to look at purchasing those, and based off the square footage of what we need to cover over there, and the size of those dehumidifiers, I did not purchase them, because it's almost $1,000 for the 3 of them, for like $300 a piece. And I know you guys told me to get, but I wanted to make sure that, cause it's almost $1,000, so I didn't wanna do that and not have permission to spend that much money. So that's all the reason that they're on here, is that it costs quite a bit more than what I think you guys might have thought it was gonna initially cost, so. I just wanna make sure that we.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that what you have on here is no bigger than what I have in my office. And my little office, as nasty as it is, I have to empty it every 3 to 4 hours. Who's gonna do that over here?
That's why that was my question, is these
is
say.
this the largest that they have?
It's the largest that you can get in stock at Lowe's right now. So,
This is,
it was the largest one I could find, I went out there, went through them, talked to people, this was the largest one I could find.
Y'all are
in
gonna
stock.
need to wait, 'cause I
That was
need
my
one
problem,
that
is-
is bigger.
These right here though, the only thing about these is they have the, built-in pump with the
Yeah,
hose.
mine does too.
If I can run it somewhere, I could run that out,
I know.
but
Well,
while we run it.
that's what you gotta have, you can't have this no inside ones.
But if that, I mean, if it's still, even if, does yours have the hose that goes outside? And you still have to pump it?
I don't have anywhere to link to, other than
Oh.
the bathroom
I was gonna say, cause
that we
these,
use, but you can't do that, it's a tripping hazard.
I can run these up to here, that's where I can put, that's why I did those particular ones, cause they had the pump on, they're not the ones that you have to empty. And I can run the hose into the ceiling and then out.
Well, this has your bucket on the front, or you can run the hose
Yeah,
out the back.
yeah, this one will have the same thing, it's probably the same what you had over there then, it sounds like.
But it's,
A pain in the butt, yeah.
you can't just leave the water in it, and even though I could dump mine and leave it, the bucket out every night so that it can dry out, it's still nasty and molds, and they're disgusting.
Is it as an odor eliminator as well?
I hope so.
No, the odor eliminators are what I buy personally, the Febreze scents that
Oh,
for
no.
smell in my
They-
office, those are my personal that I.
Dehumidifiers, they have pad, I looked at them, they're expensive, but they get
Yeah, well,
three
yeah,
in one.
yeah, no, if I could get one that's actually gonna work, I would have the city buy me a Dyson so that it would definitely work in there, because my office is.
It is.
They gotta take some relatives over there, every night, so.
Well, see, the thing is that I'm wondering too, I'm not even sure that these three would even work in that area that you got. I mean, I think you're gonna need something bigger. See,
I mean, I'm cool with that.
I
This is
just-
what we were looking at as a
Yeah.
temporary fix or whatever until we figure out what's going on with.
Those were the biggest
why.
ones that, around here locally.
Yeah, I mean, now as far as them
Can-
ordering something, I mean, I'm sure
That's
we,
what I'm wondering.
but it's probably gonna be some sort of like commercial grade thing, which is obviously what, this is for room size, house wise, everything, this was.
Yeah, that's what I went with, is cause it said it would be like.
4,000 square feet or 5,000, that's, yeah,
Well,
your
how much
office
are
is
you
like
talking?
200, so there's no way.
How much are you talking if you had a commercial?
I have no idea, I'll be honest with you, I have no clue. I don't even
That's
know.
supposed to set up legislative drain outside.
I mean, these will do that if we ran the tubing out there, which is what she said, she doesn't have anywhere to run hers. But these would do that to where we wouldn't have, I mean, theoretically, we wouldn't have to empty them every day. But I mean, if it's not,
Well, since I've been over there and what I smelled, how much you say three of them was?
$927.
Well, I would say about.
Can we check on the commercial?
I was gonna say, can we not check on the commercial? I think that's what we need. We don't need this. I mean,
I
cause we
can't.
already know, with Julie having this, that it doesn't work.
I can't.
I mean,
yeah,
and your
absolutely, I can
space,
start-
open space is much bigger than hers.
It'd be
Yeah,
great if you had a great,
there's
if you had commercial.
Several
where you just
different
put it
spaces
up there
between,
and
that's why I had to do three, is for
Line
one
on.
over here, one back there, and one on that side.
Say, I don't, it's not
That's why I
gonna work.
didn't wanna.
Get a price on the commercial.
Yeah, get a price on commercial.
And the only reason I know is cause I looked it up today, and which I printed off the receipt, I mean, so don't worry about it.
You did get that?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
And except you were looking at black ones and I have the white one.
Is your office the only one over there that has that problem, or is it
No,
the building in
Melissa's does
particular?
too, and she has, like, her and Jody's offices are vented, they have windows that open.
When I look at these, can we look at, for over there too, just to get a price on them? If they're having the same problem we are?
We're hoping that, and that's the other issue I was gonna tell y'all with all these things. And I'm gonna suggest, I know you need the lighting, but when these people get done with the roof, he asked if there was anything else we needed, I'm sending them over here. Because they're the only people that have actually come and found the root to the problem, to the roof on the convention center.
That'd be great too.
We were saving the storage room the other day, we could hear it putting the ceiling tiles while we were saving the storage room.
And that's the problem, is y'all are doing all this hoopla for what? For it to get damaged by water?
And that's why I said, we need to
Been my
kind of
question
get things in the
for 5
order that they
years.
need to go.
And I brought that to the board several years ago, and we spent 15 grand on a roof.
17.
and 17 grand on a roof, and
And we're back to the same spot.
I mean, it's over and over, you need a new building, you don't throw one of those in there every year.
That's the objective.
But,
New police station.
I mean, it's just, I'll look, I'll
You
look
can
and
Well,
split
see.
it if you want, if you want
let's get
that.
the men over here, see what they can find out, you know,
I'm going to, they're gonna come and
so let's wait and see what they say.
So you want me to go ahead and look at the dehumidifier still though? And then, it'll probably be the same. The size that we got there for that area.
I don't know, I'm not gonna need not huge, no, I just,
But it's in that whole front part, like doors and all that stuff too.
I mean, we eat, like, I have one in my office and she has one in her
Oh,
office,
it's
but what
all-
she got one for her house. And she said what she got is way bigger than what we have in our offices. And I was like, she had it like Home Depot
That's,
or something.
I'll look and see what I can figure out for both, over here and over there, and I'll just get prices, and then I'll bring them to you, that way you can look at it.
I got one in my house in the last 2 days before we get it turned on.
That's what I was afraid these over here would last
Oh,
about 2
no.
minutes. I came in the other morning and the whole inside of the window back there, was just condensation on the inside, not the outside.
So are you gonna get the guys over here to the police station?
And I'll look at the commercial.
Even with your commercial. We're gonna, let's put that on hold on this. All right, next, police department, dispatch chairs.
These next three are kinda all rolled into the same project that we've been working on, so, I separated them by, well, obviously with the stuff that we've been looking at and working on. Going through that bigger project, I forgot, I'll be honest with you, I forgot to put a few things in there that we had talked about, a few things that we needed, namely, some actual, like, chairs for them, not the low riding ones that they have in there now that are halfway broken. So that was the need for the chairs, and then the new mats, the ones that are on that floor now, for they just junk. So that was, what was it, 2 of those? Yeah, two chairs and 2 mats for the 2 new stations that are going in next month. It's through the same company that we got the, furniture and all that stuff.
Well, I wasn't here last month, when you all voted in to have all the repairs and things done. But if I'd been here, I would have asked this question. I see that you've asked for 2 chairs, 2 desks, 2 everything. And do you not have just one dispatcher dispatcher at one time for a shift?
Yes. At
So
one
why
time,
you
yes.
need 2 chairs and 2
We've always had
desks?
2 chairs, one's for backup, we used, the last, tornado that came through here last year, we had 2 dispatchers on that whole day, when we have big incidents, when we have our officers working grants, and there's several officers on a weekend working grants on New Year's Eve night. There's several instances throughout the year that we use, multiple dispatchers as well as multiple officers based on what's happening out and about and around us, the grants that we use and all that. It's always best to have a backup station in case something happens to your other one as well, because if you just have one and something's wrong, then what are you gonna do? So we've always had 2 dispatch stations in here since, I guess, dispatch was put in here. There's always been 2 separate computers, 2 separate stations. It was on the same desk if you want, but there's 2 separate stations. It's also what we purchased with the equipment upgrades and all that, it's 2 stations, 1, main station, 1 backup station. So it's always been.
Because well, all the times I've ever been in here, I've only seen where there'd been one person. And I didn't remember them being 2 desks, I remember always 1 desk.
Well, you remember the big L-shaped desk that was back there, and that was actually half of my booking desk that was taken to use for their desk. but there was two computers on it, all crammed together, there's two separate dispatch stations. That's why there's two separate actual desks now for those stations, that way they're not sitting around top of each other when.
And they both get to work off of actual radio consoles instead of one working off of a radio
Yeah.
and one working off of a portable officer radio running track.
That's the other, that was one of the.
And so this would be used daily? Both of these, desks and areas will be used daily on Sunday?
No,
It's just only if you have, an incident or something that is catastrophic type of event.
or like I said, when we do the grants.
Like officers do grants monthly
6 or
right
8
now.
something.
Yeah, they do, or it's almost monthly, and I can't have another dispatcher work right now because we don't have the separate stations for two separate radios.
Like I said, that's something that was long before, I mean, that's every, I don't know any dispatch center that just has one station. That I've never seen that actually, there's at least 2 at a minimum. And we've already, we've done all that.
So my questions are, what it is.
I don't know exactly, I don't have no comment, because I don't know exactly who,
And also on the next, honestly, 3 things, 100% the next 2 things, but the next 3 things, can all be used out of the 911 tax funds as well. So we do anything out of the general fund or anything like that. It would still be with what we've done in previously with the upgrade dispatch.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How does that work for you, Jim?
If I knew, I would
The
be more
chairs
than
that
happy
were
to
bought
share.
last year were like residential office chairs, and these chairs could sit on 24 hours a day. And one of them is about to lose an arm, and the other one is sitting like this now. I mean, they're just not meant to be sat in 24/7, and they are.
I mean, to be
So
honest,
the ones that are on this today are the actual ergonomic dispatch chairs that have the longevity to last more than 6
which one
months
of
to
you
a
was
year.
it that sat in that chair? I mean, I haven't bought
For
office
me.
chairs for us for,
For me,
our chairs over there in the office, not the dispatcher's chairs, they're worse, but I didn't even.
Well, I mean, so are ours, cause we haven't had either.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, no, this is like the 4th set of chairs that I bought in the 5 years I've been here for dispatch, and it's like, Jesus, how many chairs do you have?
Well, that's the thing, I mean, my chair in my office has lasted the same amount of time, but I'm not always in it either. There's somebody constantly 12 hours a day, back and forth, that's, again, if I bought one chair, then you're gonna have one chair that's 24 hours a day. People are sitting in it, moving around, and you're a nurse for 8 hours a day, they're a nurse for 24, 10 hours.
12.
But, we'll keep going. But there's, I mean, somebody's in dispatch center 24 hours a day, sitting in a chair, so it's.
well, I don't see how you sit in there period without a good chair to sit in there. You ain't comfortable, I mean.
but,
you
but
sit
I'd
there for
also
12
say that if we're
hours.
buying chairs, we need to go on and get those for convention center likewise. Cause those girls haven't had any chairs either.
We're supposed to bought them some way back.
Well, if we're gonna do that, can we get some of the
We
police department?
agreed to buy
Not just the
chairs.
dispatchers, please.
Well, the people never came back.
Cause mines are all broken. Yeah, there's one that doesn't have arms. I'm just, like I said, this can be taken out of the, 911 tax fund, so in the next 2 things, just asking for permission, to give them some new chairs with all their new equipment and desks.
I don't have a problem with it if we buy the 3 girls over at the convention center new chairs too.
I don't have no problem with that. We've done discussed that, and I thought it was pretty good.
I thought we did too, but it didn't get done.
So let's get some furniture.
I make a motion for the chairs.
A good seat and just makes you feel better, I mean,
Ryan Bell,
yes.
Peggy Bond,
Yes,
Terry.
that is on chairs over there at the convention center too. Need a motion.
Alright, next is police department, computers, monitors, and televisions.
Another thing for dispatch, it's, again, pretty self-explanatory, we don't have, the monitors for the, to have all this stuff up that they need to have up. Their mapping system, mules, the CAD system, the door lock system, it's all computer based, and it all uses different screens. And, we bought, again, it was a misstep on my part, I put the monitor stands and all that stuff in that big quote that we did 2 months ago, last month. I completely looked over putting the monitors and televisions in there, but I should have, and that's my fault. I didn't think about it until we started getting things in and seeing where things went, and I realized that I didn't put them in that. That would be for the 2 stations and then for the wall in the dispatch room. Right now, the one computer has dual monitors, so they're still flipping back and forth between 4 or 5 things. They're doing calls on the 2 monitors, and the backup station right now has 1. So it's again, it's a backup station, it's not hard to use right now. But the other one is not user friendly, either with only having dual monitors. This will be, it'll be similar. The dispatcher at Sykes use 6 monitors each.
They'll be upgrading to 8.
To 8
Yeah.
monitors if these, we don't need, I just need the monitors to go on the monitor stand, but, be able to put on the huge book or whatever.
All this is coming out of that money from that 911 stuff?
No, cause it's not actually there yet.
When do we actually get it?
What's not actually?
Well, I mean, some of it's there, like the 129.
It was 153 before we started this project.
No,
Where?
no. No, there's only 129,884.35, or there was.
The checks from the board that come forward?
Already been making some payments.
On Tuesday, April 8th, Angie sent me that they have given checks to Julie in the amount of $153,887.50.
Yeah.
No, that's what it will be.
No, that's what you
That's
also
what it was
confirmed
to
with me
that.
before the last meeting.
So
No.
let's do that form.
No, that's what I handed out at the last meeting, this is all we have.
Right, but you and I had a phone conversation before that, so that we had our numbers correct on all of our
And I
proposals
told
before the
you,
last
this is
meeting.
all we have. This is what's been given, the 70,587.48. And then we got a check for 17,646.87, a check for 20,825, and 20,825. 129,884.35.
So for the last meeting, the exact number you gave me was the exact number you just read off on the text from me.
No, I gave you this amount, cause that's what I have. And I printed it out and put it in their packets. And when Angie said it at the meeting, I said, I don't have, and she said, no, that's what it will add up to after the next check. Okay.
But
That
that's
next
what you
check
have
was
now,
April,
and you got some more
April check,
coming.
cause that was the quarterly check.
Yeah,
So,
I got the
have you
April
not
check.
got that one yet?
I got the April check, it's on here.
She said after this quarter's check, you guys have gotten 153,887. So that's what we were basing that off of. The,
129,884.35.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
so there's $20-something thousand missing.
Not until we get the next check.
Let's just spend this 129.
So, the money that we do have, speaking of, before we get off topic, I guess, can we just go on with this and figure out what we're gonna do, and then I have a question after that.
Figure out what we're gonna do in the budget.
I mean, I asked the question, I asked if we could get the monitors, and I told him that they're gonna have to use their new computer system that we bought.
I just need to make a motion to either approve it or not approve it.
Was this your, computer monitors and television, all that, how much had you spent? If you had all this here, how much money would you have done spent on this, what you talking? You got from 129.
I don't have the total,
With the total
whatever
of
we spent the
everything,
last
it'd be about
time.
for
180.
they're about up to about 180.
Which, again, I'll go ahead and bring it up now since somebody's talking. Financing that we were doing on that. I got a phone call today that they sent you something 10 days ago, and they're waiting on that for you and her to sign. And apparently hasn't gotten signed, and they're talking about kicking it back, they're gonna have to redo the bid or something if we don't get that soon. So all of this, everything else we've done and the money we spent is based off of that. So if we don't do that, then I'm not sure what we're gonna. Okay, I'm just telling, I just got a phone call today that it hasn't been sent back. They can't do something until they get that.
So you're gonna be in to about 180,000
Yes.
if you get all this stuff that we got down here.
Yes, roughly.
But again, the equipment, well, the down payment would be due on the equipment with the financing, the down payment would be due at the time of install.
$15,000 and then it's
The rest
annually
isn't due for
30.
365 days after the install starts.
I think the rest of it, it's an annual payment of $30-something thousand. We get 20,000 a quarter from the amount of that.
And is there also a yearly subscription to this too? Somewhere on this I looked and it's a yearly subscription.
I don't think they seen him in that, it didn't come until I got all that, that's right.
Well, I saw that and I didn't know if anybody, cause I wasn't here last week,
No,
because I
none
was
of
sick.
them seen that, I didn't get it till I got all the paperwork from that guy that called me every day.
Was it 15,000 or something like that a year? Yeah, I thought it was in the packet from last meeting.
It was.
And I was-
I'm trying to
For the
figure out-
Opten Scout system from Motorola,
I don't even know what we're talking about, to be honest with you. What are we talking about?
I'm talking about 180,000. And that's what it'd be probably the total cost if we had all this here you talked about.
Correct.
And you only supposed to get 153,000,
No, that's what we have, and then we get 20,000 roughly a quarter.
or if that'd be 173,000.
Each quarter we get
28,
20,000 each, where is it?
Well, do you have to pay for this thing all at one time?
She was saying that you put a,
It's
$15,000 is what's going
$15,000 down, and then it's 30,
we have by no means spent $180,000.
no, it isn't. It's 30-something thousand dollars a year after, it would be exactly 1 year from the day we make a down payment of 15 grand, then it's 30-something thousand dollars a year for 5 years.
You said it's got no interest?
No, there's interest, yeah.
I would say if the money is in the account.
However,
we just
yes,
pay it.
That's
we
what-
are fully capable of
I
paying it
put
off.
that in the packet
Well, if it's.
6 months ago, that if the money was there, they could just pay it off after the first payments, or right before the first payment's due,
Right,
and just pay it off,
right,
and you wouldn't have to pay any interest.
right. That makes more sense.
But that's all been discussed before, it's been in the packets for the last several months, so.
Well, that's what I thought you had the money coming, you know, you already had some, you had some money.
It is coming, and then it was not expeditiously this way so that we didn't spend $180,000.
Well, in essence, it
on the
still
same
ain't
day.
costing us anything.
I'm sorry?
It's
No.
not costing us anything.
It's not costing the city
What?
a dime, it's not coming out of the general.
It's coming out of the
fund.
911 budget.
No,
The
no,
911
no.
tax, I'm sorry.
If you buy all that, certainly costs $180,000.
It's the $180,000 that we will get from the Scott County 911.
Yeah, I mean, it's not costing mine or nothing.
Correct.
Technically speaking, no. It's not coming out of the general fund if that's.
That's what I was trying to get to, we, to get
No.
all this here stuff.
No, it's not coming out of the general fund if that's your question. It's coming out of the 911 tax fund.
I mean, I don't see how you lose there.
Made for this kind of stuff.
I'm gonna approve or make a motion on the monitors, so we can move past that particular issue.
I'll make a motion, the computer monitors to talk issues.
I'll second it. Yes.
No.
Well, one more, police department facility light. Lighting. Lights, I guess.
That's for the contract, I don't know.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
We have good lighting in their building.
You have to vote on the monitors real quick, because she voted no and she's not here, so it's a tie again.
Well, I'm for it.
You and I have to go on.
Mhm.
Okay. We discussed the lighting again in the whole building, you guys just said you're worried about the water, leaking in the building and stuff, so I'm assuming that, I mean, we need the lights for it, but if you want me to do something, I'll look at something first. This was a quote that was from, Hart Electric. We tried to get a hold of, Mr. Green several times, I couldn't get a hold of him. I spoke with a couple others, and then Mike and Hart Electric was here the next day and gave us a quote, for replacing all the lighting and everything, while we were working on that, the generator thing. So, this is to replace 37 total, light fixtures instead of putting the same old bulbs back in there and blowing the bulbs and the valves catching on fire like they did last year, both sitting head. We were talking about replacing them with the LED, lighting all the way through there. A total cost for 31 2x4 lights and 6 2x2 lights is a little over $4,000. So, I brought that after Ms. Kay and I talked about it, a couple weeks ago, so that's why that's on there. It does need to be done. I mean, I don't think, if you wanna look at the roof fix first, I'm okay with that. It just, again, we're just looking at getting it done, based off our discussion that we had.
And I'm okay with that, but I do think the roof, if we can fix the roof problem, we better do that first before we start spending money. And then we'll get the roof done, then we got another problem in between the time possibly, so. I'm fine with getting the light, because man, I tell you, they need it.
They're
It's
bad.
the most disgusting piece of bed trying to see something.
You can't see.
Yeah, the lights are
Half of them
not
don't even
there.
work, like I said, the ones that burn out, I mean, they literally was smoking out of the ceiling, they had to rip it down to make it move.
I have no problem with that, I mean, I'll make a motion that you go on and get the department lights after the roof. That's my,
Yeah,
I
a lot of this
know you-
needs to be done
Intention
after
to
the
that.
roof fix.
right, have the
Yeah, I
roof
know you
fixed
said
and
that a
then,
while ago. Did you say you were gonna send, you're gonna?
Yeah, they said they would do.
Okay, so this is, I don't need to contact you, you're gonna let them know that we're here.
I make a motion that the department lights be done, but contingent on roof being fixed first.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Next is EMA, Emergency Operation Fund.
It's the same thing, it's real quick, I'm just requesting to meet with you guys at some point, as you can see, we keep having a lot of severe weather, a lot of bad things happening around here. It's close enough this time that, we use our own convention center for their, little Red Cross headquarters and their check-in and stuff, so I'm just requesting that, all of us, including you especially, I know you, but, I mean, emergency operations plan, there's a lot of fine things that we need to go through and go over, that's basically it. I just requested that we be able to meet together at some point and go over everything.
I'm fine.
There's a lot of things in there that, like I said, are contingent on me speaking with local businesses, churches, different places, entities to make sure that we can use those facilities, we can do this. I know a lot of them we already kind of do, but there's paperwork you need to get in place, forms that you need to sign, agreements that have to be made, on paper, not just, we know that's how it was, or, yeah, they don't care this time, but maybe next time. There's all kinds of different agreements, and I just wanna go over that, the legalities of certain things as well, which is why, I really need you to be there with that. I can pretty much sit and talk with you, meet with you guys at any time, and obviously it's not gonna all be able to be done at once, it's 400 and something things, so, but there are certain things that we could go ahead and get started, that I could then turn around and have, Justin Keller help me with, a lot of the hazmat stuff that is in the city, that's stored in the city, that's, you can start going around and having those paperwork filled out, and different things happen, I can start looking, but I have to get something started that's agreed upon first, with the board and the city attorney.
Well, you get with, Justin, see what y'all come up with.
Give us
I
some
just-
dates.
I
I was
just
gonna
need to-
say, give us a date.
You tell me a date and I'll be there.
You pick up some dates.
You tell me a date and I'll be there.
June. You set the date, because I know you're the one that's got the things going.
You wanna do it on a Saturday or something? Is that what you're saying? Or
You pick a date and I'll be there. I
you
promise.
pick a day, I'll be there.
All right, well, let's
If I'm
do-
not, I won't.
Fine, let me.
But seriously, I don't care. If you just tell me when, and like I said, it's gonna take more than one, and I don't want it to take forever, but I want it to be right. And I want everything to be legally done correctly, and make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to that. Because eventually I'll have to, Mike Heise, Justin Keller, and Julie, obviously, all of us are a huge part of this. It's not just the EMA, it's you and every one of you guys up here, plus those guys all the way down to. the
Saturday's out for me now, I'll tell you that. Gotta go to the
This Saturday?
graduation party.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll probably be part of it.
okay. I was just giving you a heads up. I said anytime. I gotta go see a
Honestly,
the
though,
graduation
if you
party.
guys, it does not matter, and I know, like, everybody's got different schedules and everything, but I'm here way more than I wanna be, so I can be here whenever. The scary part is that, last year in May, we get to the EF3 tornado that literally goes across our back parking lot. There's a bunch of businesses, luckily it didn't hit our housing, it did, and, there's several people that got damaged, but then you have this happen, and Sikeston itself has been hit 4 or 5 times now, in the last year, by at least the EF1 tornado, and I haven't seen one in 30 years, and so
Get
it's
worse.
happening more often, and it's scary.
Didn't Cape have one Saturday night?
Yes, well, it was Cape County, Oak Ridge, and then, one by, there was another one out there, where was that, Old Appleton or something like that? Yeah, there was 2, but they had, back in March, they had 2 big ones that hit, right there, it's just becoming more frequent. And not just the tornado part of it, another thing really concerning, I went to the training on is the earthquakes.
Nowhere else too.
That's something that we need to discuss and go over, but again, that's all in the plan, it's all in the annexes and everything to the plan. I just need some guidance and some legal advice and, some signatures to make sure that we're all where we need to be on that. And you don't have to show me, if you guys wanna get get together and just send me a text, send me a
Okay.
message,
Let us
whatever,
discuss it
you guys wanna
closed.
talk later,
we'll get-
but I'm just requesting to do it.
Okay, yeah, cause I mean, the soon, we need to do this sooner than
Yes, we
later,
do.
because we've been after this, I know, for about 3 years, I think, maybe, so we do need to try to get this going.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you guys.
Anybody else got anything they need to say? Want to say? Before we close? All right, if not, I got a couple of things. I've been thinking on, a community building. Somewhere we could all get together and talk about that, discuss that, a safe place. Over about 40 or 50, right, get the property maybe right there, one local. Will be real convenient for everybody. We know one's gonna hit us when we have enough, store some stuff in there, water and stuff like that. Hold about 40, 50 people, I don't think more than that. If they did, we could just move them out into the center.
That's a concern of a lot of our citizens, a lot, I've heard that a lot, since this has happened in, out in South Storm. Yes.
Yeah,
Like
they're
a
building
safe
above,
place on
they're
Southern.
building above ground.
Lifeson, they built that new building behind the kindergarten, and you know, it's an above ground building, but it's a storm shelter, it's a storm rated building. So I think it's supposed to stand up to like a Jet 4 tornado.
Maybe we get lucky, somebody donate us.
Maybe
Well,
Minor Baptist Church would give us some of their grant.
I've had several people actually, when we posted videos and stuff on our Facebook of like the tornadoes and everything, I've had several residents that have asked that, if we had a safe place for people to go.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, we don't as a city. I've suggested different places that they could go, you know, wherever, but, there are a lot of citizens that are, curious and willing or wanting something to be able to go to, when something like that happens. I know a lot of places, Scott City, I see them, East Prairie even, I mean, there's places storm shelters gonna be open tonight because there's bad weather. And then, you know, they'll have a certain time that it's gonna be open till, and just about everybody around here has one except for us, and I think Logic even has one now.
And the majority of people in Minor don't have basements.
No,
That's right.
and that's what most people's complaints are, is like they don't
And
have
we do
basements, they
have
don't
trailer courts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was part of it, really loving trailer courts.
We do get serious on that because
That's, if you want me to, I mean, that's something I can start looking into as well, and see what we can figure out as far as, I mean, that'll be a huge project. I mean, if you're gonna build a building for something, it's not gonna be a little 6-man thing that goes in the backyard. But
maybe somebody got a property to let us have, donate it to us.
I mean, if you guys have any ideas or anything, and I don't mind, you know, working with that too. I mean, cause I think it would ultimately be a good idea.
We'll just check into it, see how far we can get with it.
I think you could build it right in the middle of a new police station, and that would probably work too.
Yeah.
I got a question, Frank,
Yeah.
and you may know. I don't know the name of the church, but the church on Rogers, was that building an armory at one time?
That's all above ground, isn't it?
As far as I know, I don't think it has a basement or anything.
It leaks.
Did they have a
Yeah.
basement?
It's been 40
No.
years since I've been in it,
They
but
don't
if
have
it
a
was
basement,
built,
Frank. No,
if it was built,
I've been there. No.
if it was built to the specs of an armory, are you looking for something with a basement? Is that what you're talking about? Or just a safe place after the storm?
Just, well,
They build
pre-storm,
them
but they build a lot of, places now above ground.
above ground.
That are storm rated, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a basement, but.
Yeah, well, that's why I was wondering if that was an armory. I mean, I would have thought,
I don't know.
I guess you could build something top ground and spend $175, $800.
My storm cellar's above ground in my garage.
Sandy Cole sister, you just built one on the other side of their garage.
Above ground or down?
Yeah, little white one there.
Yeah.
crap.
I will.
Okay, we'll see what.
Okay. I do have one quick question, and it's just for Leanne, if you don't mind. For the code enforcement. Ticket writing. Is that something?
The way that Jody explained it to me was that when the code enforcer writes the tickets, it can't be filed in court because there aren't identifiers, so that you have to take the officer with you to be able to do that portion of it.
Correct, that's with whatever those, forms or tickets, if you wanna call them, are, that were used before. I didn't know that, I found that out.
Okay.
The code enforcement officer can use one of our ticket books.
Yeah,
And they
that's
can
fine.
sign as a code enforcement officer, it's not saying that they're an officer of the law.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so I can give Mike a ticket book.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I'll have to keep track of it, but that way he can actually issue a citation that has the proper information and everything on there.
Correct.
To eliminate whatever
Two
happened
people have to do that,
last
yes.
month. Yeah, and to eliminate me having to write the ticket and go to court with Mike on something that I really don't know much about because he's the one that did it.
But she's testified before on code enforcement issues.
Right.
I think it's just the filing that was the.
I think so, but I will issue Mike, when he comes back from vacation, a citation book.
Okay.
And, then he can issue those, whenever he needs to.
Okay.
Make sure he uses the right codes.
Do what?
Make sure he uses the right codes.
No, I don't know what the code says. What he used, but I will.
He gave me the definitions, but not what the offense was.